started.
Hello, everyone. I am back on Facebook today with my panelists, Carolyn, Trish, and Alina. Welcome in and welcome back. And we're here to talk today about spiritual awakening. And what does that mean? What is that? And I know there's a lot of people that have no idea. And we are there's two sets of people today. There is healed and unhealed, and there's awakened and unawakened. And so when you start your path, you kind of like figure things out on your way. And I'm going to start today and kind of tell you real quick, because I know this can probably might be long today, on my awakening. And I believe it was in 2018. I had some people at work tell me a lot of things that I had no idea what it was. And I really can't repeat that on here. There's a lot of things during the awakening that we cannot talk about on social media. That's something that maybe if we did a private Zoom that we could go there, but not on this platform. Anyway, it took 2 years for me to digest this information. Is it true, not true? It was horrific. So that led me to beginnings of an awakening. And then 2020, of course, like everyone else, that was a big awakening there with what happened there. And I'm not going to go through all of that right now. So that kind of led me. And then back up 8 years ago, I guess I kind of forgot this as my own awakening with chronic disease, medications, the route that we were all supposed to take on wellness and healing, and how the medicine made me worse. And that was an awakening of God saying, wait a minute, I don't want you to do it that way anymore. I want you to do it my way with healing the body naturally. And then you start to heal, and then you get made fun of for healing because everybody wants you sick because they're sick. So anyway, that was kind of the start. So my own processes of learning on how to heal for disease. I was a nurse at 20 years. I was sick for 30 years. So I had multiple times I was sick doing it the standard way, the system way that did not work for me anymore. And I was waking up from that. Which led me to my business today, foodgoddess50.com, with a lot of natural remedies and things that I know that are working for people. So that was kind of really quick of my awakening. And so I want to dive in on a few subjects with awakening, and then I'll let everyone speak on their own awakening and what they looked up. So I want to talk about, and these are things that people may believe and may not believe. That's kind of like, I'm throwing these things out here to see. Um, so please don't put any bad comments on this video that that's not true or whatever. Just have an open mind and look things up and then decide. And I educated choice decision. And before I start, I was being reminded to talk about this. A lot of people don't see the truth today because there's so much brain fog in the brain from fluoride, toxins, metals, inflammation. So you're going to see people that are awakening to see the truth, and other people that don't believe the truth because of the brain being the pineal gland clogged, the inflammation in the brain. So they don't understand what other people are understanding. And I want to kind of make that clear because that's important for people to understand why some people are awakening, some people aren't. That's why I'm into Carbon 60, quantum nutrition, and all the things that I do for the awakening so that my brain can know the truth. So back to first topic I want to talk about is the weather. We have a program on the internet. I'll let you look it up, HAARP. And since Nikola Tesla, we've had inventions to help with operating with the weather. We have weather machines, we have bioengineering technologies, we have cloud seeding, we have advanced radar technology, weather modification. Chemtrails are real and true. We have by chemtrails, we have solar radiation, weather modification, biological, chemical warfare. Whether you believe that or not, that's on you. But it is out to read about it and understand that these things are causing brain fog. Moving on to music, which is one of my favorite topics with spiritual awakening. Back a long time ago, our music was um, we'll say 432, which is the healing frequency, which is still on YouTube today under high frequency music and meditation. And today, our standard music that's played on the radio is in 440, which is a, believe it or not, is a unhealthy channel of listening to music. Please look into that so that you can understand it. It's actually harmful for us, which I know sounds really crazy, but it's true. That's why they removed the bells in churches. The bells were actually with healing as well. Um, we also have, I kind of talked about already real quick about we get sick by the environment, the water, the food. We're led to the doctor to take pills, treatments, testing, and the food originally made us sick with our supplies, and then the treatments make us even more sick. We're not dying of disease, we're dying treatment of disease. And I have to express that over and over and over because people are not getting that. And you will eventually on your own awakening, you will realize that the treatments in place, are they by God? That's all I have to say on that, including hospice. We've had, I want to say the truth on real quick. I only have two more things and I'm going to pass this over. Truth on relationships. A lot of people, and we're not just talking a man and a woman, we're talking family, siblings, friends, relatives. We've been stuck in cycles of generation after generation of traumas, toxic cycles, curses. Yeah, even black magic. But a lot of these things have happened with relationships that have not been healthy. And you don't realize it until you're alone to see it. And then you look back and go, wow, that was toxic. I was toxic. He was toxic. Parent was toxic. A sibling was toxic. A friend was toxic. And you don't understand it until you go through your own awakening and healing in isolation to see that. So I'm kind of giving advice right now to go within on healing on that, on every single relationship that you have today. It's so important. And real quick, back to the weather modifications. We can have plasma water or the Tensor rings to help with that. We have studies shown over and over and over the plasma water can have everyone else's house floods except their house. The Tensor rings can protect your area as well. This is all operated by energy. So we can divert weather patterns to your own house just by using these technologies, which is Tensor rings and plasma water, which is on my website. Last thing I want to say is jobs, the 9 to 5 jobs, education, and a business. We were taught to think alike, to be alike, not be creative, not be a successful business owner, to only learn the education that's in the system and go get that degree, go get the 9 to 5 job, and that's your life. Even if you struggle with a degree, if you can't make bills meet, that's your fault, that's your problem. This is designed to fail many times because of the economy and because of all these things. And it's people have told me over and over, why are you doing a business? Why aren't you working as a nurse? It's because some of us are called to a higher power of our soul purpose. And a majority of people, this is really scary. Majority of people on earth are not healing to get into their soul purpose. because they're distracted by the news and social media and what's always been and stuck in their 9 to 5 job. Not saying that if people are happy in their 9 to 5, stay. But if you're not happy and you have a higher purpose, leave and do what you're being called to do instead of being stuck somewhere that you're just working for a paycheck. And I think that's kind of where I'm leading to. We're told it's too scary to have your own business. It's actually not. It's liberating. It's liberating to be your own boss. It's liberating to make your own decisions. It's liberating to make your own schedule. So, and especially if you're doing something that you love to do. And for me, it's to help with healing the population. So I take a lot of pride in that, on helping people go to their best life and helping people heal so they can achieve their soul purpose and their higher self. So I think that's important too. Not to feel stuck. If you're called to go higher, do it, and you're called to do it. And I'm just making sure I got out everything I wanted to say. I know that was a lot. I'm going to go ahead and pass this over to Alina. Alina, what did you look up for the spiritual awakening, and how did you first awaken?
I looked up for spiritual awakening, water and healing modalities. So that'll be my two topics. Um, it was a slow movement for me to my awakening, and it really started to blossom and speed up over the past few years. I'm going to say around the beginning of COVID, and I'm sure a lot of people can say that about themselves as well. It really opened up my eyes big time. Um, it was a process, and it sometimes felt like it was lonely, but I wouldn't change that. It entailed choosing myself, loving myself, prioritizing myself, and a lot of self-care while I was going through this. I think that I'm rebuilding myself stronger and wiser. We've been so programmed, and I have been lucky enough to realize that. Thank God. I had to unlearn what I've learned and relearn it. So I also take carbon 60 and quantum, and I that has enhanced and elevated my awakening process. So there's that. So I'll get into water and healing modalities. So please do please do your own research too, and come up with your own conclusions. But I'm just gonna, give you a little bit of what I found and what I know. So we'll start with water. Are you drinking clean water? Most people would agree that plenty of water is good for your overall health, but that's usually where the agreement tends to end because opinions vary greatly as to which kind of water is ideal. And there's just so much out there. There's tap water, well water, spring water, bottled water, filtered water, structured water, distilled water, and the list goes on. And some of these aren't as innocent as it seems. For example, your city water, your public water systems. Man-made drugs and chemicals are making their way into our drinking water at unprecedented levels. The city water, from what I've read and what I know, usually, and I've looked up also, even in my own local water system, usually has toxic substances like fluoride, chlorine, and even microplastics. Um, so there's also distilled water. You think, oh, distilled water is great. Yes, there are a lot of healing benefits to distilled water, a lot of great things, but reverse osmosis and distilled water can strip you of, the minerals that you need to be healthy. So keep that in mind. Well water that could contain pesticides and bacteria. So of course you'd want to get your well water tested. So speaking of fluoride, I kind of want to get into this a little bit. It's added to a lot of our public water systems, and it was originally, well, it is aimed to reduce tooth decay. Hmm. So when it began in the US and Canada in 1945, there were no published studies available that demonstrated that consuming fluoride at that level used was safe. Um, there's a nonprofit I wanted to bring up network called FAN, FAN. It's Fluoride Action Network. It maintains the largest database dedicated to education and sharing information on the toxicity of fluoride and how it affects the blood, the bone, your bones, brain fog, brain, heart, kidney, liver, lungs, and thyroid, reproductive system, and more. Please go to that database. It has the largest collection of news articles that are accessible by county, by state here in the US, and there's also video interviews called FAN, F-A-N. And the crazy thing is that most people don't even know that their water is being fluoridated, and the potential risks associated with that. So, I wanted to address that also. So not only do we have to deal with the fluoride, what about the herbicides? What about the chloride, chlorine, pharmaceuticals, the forever chemicals, that's in your cookware? And a lot of those are linked to health problems, including the big C. And believe it or not, most everyone in the US has it in their blood. Blood samples have proven that. And of course, there's like other contaminants like X-ray imaging media. Who would have thought that? BPA. I'm not going to go into all of that. You get the picture. So there are ways, that you can test your water. There's things that you can do, and there's different water modalities, which Angie will go into sometime later during this live. So I'll have her do that. A clean water is essential to life. It nourishes, it hydrates, and it sustains us. I just wanted to add, I believe that water ties all life together physically, energetically, and spiritually. And did you know that it holds memory? It responds to energy, to intentions, and its own environment. So look into that. It's quite remarkable. All right, let's get into healing modalities. Approximately 65 to 80% of the world's population use healing modalities that were developed outside of your conventional and allopathic medicine. So we often call this alternative, holistic, complementary. We're seeing a big resurgence in this today in the world of holistic health. So there's a variety of approaches and that people explore to enhance their physical, their mental, and emotional well-being, such as there's acupuncture, aromatherapy, there's Reiki, herbal medicine, and to name a few. But I'm going to mention three, and one of them is salt cave therapy. That's involved in you're spending time in a room meant to mimic a real salt cave, and the walls are typically made of Himalayan or sea salt bricks, and there's like loose, grainy salt underneath your feet when you're sitting in that. There's a in the salt cave, there's a significant presence of negative ions in the air. And there's different kinds of salt caves, but I'm going to mention I think it's called halotherapy or halo. I don't remember, but they use a machine called a halo generator, and it circulates salt around the room, and you breathe in these ions and what have you. So, and I think it's negative ions, yeah. So the benefits, like your breathing might improve. The salt particles or the aerosols inhaled may reduce the inflammation, and break down mucus that's in your lung. Has skin benefits, you look better, and hydrates you. Your allergies may be less intense. Thanks, it has a decongesting effect while you're in there. You also might leave with a mood boost. So, I'd love that. The next one is the EE system. That stands for Energy Enhancement System. And I've seen pictures of them. Looks like there's a bunch of TVs, some movie screens in the room. And it's a form of energy healing, by the way. Let's see what I have here. I have to read my notes for this one. At its core, the EE system is based on the understanding that everything in the universe, including our bodies, is made up of energy. I agree with that. By harnessing and manipulating these energy, the EE system is able to stimulate the body's natural healing processes, promoting physical, emotional, and spiritual wellness. So, in simple terms, this system works by emitting low frequency scalar waves and biophotons, and that interacts with the body's energy field. And some of the benefits, there's a wide range of benefits, but I'll just name a few. It supports your physical healing, emotional well being, spiritual growth. A lot of people use it for that. And not only that, it's non-invasive, it's safe, and suitable for all ages. So I thought that was really cool. I learned a lot about that, but I'm not going to get into it because we don't have time. Um, Two others, infrared sauna. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of that. A lot of your spas and gyms have that. And it's different from like your regular sauna where you're sitting in a room, and it could go up to 200 degrees Fahrenheit, which for me is a lot. And what the infrared sauna does, it allows your core temperature to rise, and it kind of it heats your body, like it heats your body, keeping the air around you unchanged, is what I meant to say. And there's different types. There's like portable ones, there's blankets, and there's like indoor and outdoor, saunas. And like I said, in the gyms and spas have them. Great benefits: weight loss, detoxification, there's cardiovascular benefits, lung benefits, immune health, pain management, relaxation, just to name a few. So thought that was really cool. The last one I want to mention is lymphatic massage. And this is a type of gentle massage used to relieve inflammation related to like lipedema or lymphedema. And the lymphedema is a common side effect of like many health conditions. That could be someone who, is going through the big C, and amongst other things. So if your lymphatic system isn't working as it should, this healing modality is a great choice. So, and what it does, there's immune support. A big thing is reduced fluid retention. A lot of us lipedema folks and people with lymphedema have a lot of fluid buildup in their body. So this is definitely a great choice. Gives you neuropathy. There's neuropathy relief, stress management, and glowing skin. There's a lot of others, but I'm not going to go into that as well. So that's, I'm going to hand the baton over to the next person. That's what I have to say about those things. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, Alina. I just wanted to say that I've done the infrared saunas, I've done the EE system, and the salt caves, and they're all wonderful and definitely worth doing. So everyone definitely go do it. We have some in the local area where I live, Charlestown, West Virginia. We have the EE system. We got the salt caves, infrared sauna in Martinsburg, West Virginia. But please go see if you can find them wherever you are. Support local business. Moving on, I think I'm going to pick, it's like, which one am I going to pick next? I think I'm going to pick Carolyn. Carolyn, what do you have for us today? Welcome in.
Well, hello, everyone. Glad you're here. Hope you're learning and following along. So we're going to talk about my beginning of an awakening or waking up, because I want to give you the definition of awakening. There's only two ways to be fully awakened, and that is one, the death of your ego. You have sat with your shadows. You have confronted all of them. It's called the dark shadow of the night or something like that. You actually sit with it. You get rid of it. You forgive yourself. You let it go. You don't care what anyone thinks about you. You don't care about money anymore. You don't care about really anything except for your existing and what's going on in your life. That's the first way. And the other way for a full, complete awakening is once your soul has finished its contract, whatever it's here for, and it's now gone back into the loving frequencies of our Father, and you go through a life review. Those are the two true awakenings. We are all in the process of heading there in what we call, we're finally starting to wake up. Well, I finally started to wake up in 2018 when I had a tragic event happen. My husband passed away. It may be hard for me to say this, but I apologize. It was horrible. It happened in front of my eyes. And I thought, how dare you? How dare you do this to me? Don't do this to me. I was begging as he was lying on the floor. Don't do this to me. How am I supposed to go on? Well, it turned out that it was a good thing. And at that point, we had so much outpouring of love. So many people came to the house. They actually moved in, stayed with me for a long time. But when the coroner came with a preacher. And I said, what are you doing here? You don't belong here. I don't want you here. And they're like, oh, well, he's in the arms of the Lord. Well, great. What does that leave me with? Nothing. So how could you do this to me? It was awful, absolutely awful. But then there was a day, everyone's gone. People aren't, because they have their lives. They have to get back into their own lives. So everyone's gone. I'm sitting out on the deck. And I actually put my head back on the chair I was sitting in. And at that point, I was given two choices. And I'll never forget the feeling. You could either go this way, which is going to be dark and evil, but it's going to be so comfortable also. Or you can go this way, where there's love and light, also so comfortable. They both felt so comfortable, and that's done by design because the evil really wants you to be on their side. I sat up and I was like, oh my goodness, there really is something out there. There is somebody that loves me and wants me not to be in the dark. So I did not go to the dark side. I sat up and said, screw you. I am going to go to where I'm love and light and happiness. And then my life has exploded since then. But then shortly after that, my mom's husband died. So my husband died in May. Her husband died in August, both almost to the same day. Randy was May 7th. He was August 5th. So really close. So now I don't get to grieve anymore. I have to stop. And I realized that my mom hasn't been overtired taking care of her husband. She's actually got dementia. And so now I'm really starting to see things. This is like, what is going on? Why? What has caused this? Well, obviously I figured it out, but I didn't figure it out soon enough. Every time you would take her to a doctor visit, there'd be a new pill, and this is just normal aging. And I said, the hell this is. This is absolutely not normal aging. I don't know why you keep saying that. So we go into an MRI. Funny little side story. My mom fell in love with the guy that ran the MRI machine, said he was so handsome. She was so cute. So she has the MRI. They say, oh, this is just normal brain shrinkage. And I'm like, if that were true, this would happen to every single one of us. This is not normal. So I'm starting to think, well, what kind of nonsense is this? This is absolute nonsense. I'm starting to see the light that the medical industry is actually not in our favor. And it's not all of their faults. We've talked about this before. They've all been indoctrinated. They don't know any different. This is what they were told to do. So what is it that caused my mom's brain to shrink? What medications is she on? And I was lucky enough that my husband was in the pharma field, so he knew what these medications were. And he's like, of course, he didn't know that your cholesterol needs to be 300 or more. If your cholesterol is less than 300, you will die from dementia or Alzheimer's, one of the two. It just depends on how low it is, because dementia is way worse than Alzheimer's is. And some people think they're the same. They are absolutely not the same. So anyway, so we figured out what that is, but it's too late at this point. She's in the nursing home or memory care facility because I couldn't take care of her anymore. She was destroying things. So she went from being the absolute nicest person on the planet, everybody loved her, to the most awful, horrible. And so I knew that something was going on, something bigger than what is happening to her brain, something bigger, something has been triggered, and it was the evil. The evil, unfortunately, had taken over, and she would do nothing but scream all day, tell me that I'm going to kill myself. You need to get out of here. She was violent. She actually would have night terrors. She couldn't sleep. And she ended up in the psych ward a couple of times. And when the last time she was in the psych ward, I told the nurses, I don't care what you say. She's seeing something. She's terrified. She's terrified to be alive. She's terrified of where she's going to go. Absolutely terrified. And then there was two of them that agreed with me that, yeah, she's definitely experiencing something, and it's real. It's not fake. It's not bullshit. It's real. And luckily, she was able to pass shortly after that, but it was awful. It was awful for me. It was awful for the family. But again, I don't start blaming God for doing this to her or anyone, because now I see that it wasn't them. It was not the life force energy that lives in all of us. It wasn't. It was what I call the white coat killers. But they don't understand what they're doing. They don't understand anything. They're just making sure. So now I see more and more. And then, so that was 2018. And since 2018 to 2026, there's been 18 souls that have left my life. And many of them really changed and shaped who I am. My whole family is gone. I have a sister and a brother left. That's it. I've lost 3 sisters. I've lost my father, my mother, my stepfather, my stepmother, uncles, aunts, friends. But then you get comfortable with it, because you know why? Their soul no longer needed to be in this avatar, right? This is an avatar. This is not physically, it's a real body, but it's an avatar, just like the movie Avatar. I mean, really start watching that movie, because that movie is like really spot on as to what a spirit is. As you lay down in that bed to get into that avatar suit, you see the energy flow into the suit. That's what we are. We're energy. We're physical beings. We're all electrical, which is where your frequencies come into play, your chakras, your Reiki. Like I mentioned, what is Reiki? Reiki is life force energy. So as I start to get into all of this and believe that actually everyone that leaves here, the physical body, dies away, they're just on the other side. They haven't really left you. They're still watching you. They're still here. They're on the other side of the veil. And once you learn how to see through the veil, which I'm working on, I still haven't been able to do it 100%, but I'm getting there. You start to be at peace with the fact that they're not truly gone. We're all going to meet up again, because we're all here for a purpose. We've decided, our souls decided they wanted to come here to live an experience for a reason. And once you figure that out and you've done what you need to do, there's no need for you to be here anymore. So your soul will leave, right? And we all kind of do it in our sleep, but most of us just don't remember it. It's called astral travel. Souls are out, they leave. The body, the physical body, needs to rest and heal, but the spirit doesn't, because what happens to the physical body doesn't happen to your spirit. Your spirit may feel it, but it's not going to hurt the spirit. Okay, so your spirit doesn't need to rest, so you're now sleeping at night, and your spirit will leave your body and go astral travel and play with other spirits or whatever's happening, and it comes back when it feels your body is waking up. It will come back. So we are all actually frequency, right? Our bodies are electrical. This is where your chakra will come into play. You have 12 or 7 chakras, but you actually have 12, actually more than that, because there is an electrical field that lives around your body, which is your spirit. Your spirit wraps itself around the body. It doesn't live inside, it lives around the outside. So it's an aura, but it's also actually, the scientific term is a biofield. It's all electricity, okay? All of it, all the way around you. 12 feet out, some are 8, some are 4, depends, but it can be as a maximum of 12 feet. Everywhere you walk around, everywhere you go, you're followed by this frequency, or your soul wrapped around your avatar, living a life as a human. So with these frequencies, your body can be healed. Your physical body can be healed with these frequencies. And you can actually do this with tuning forks, listening to solfeggio frequencies, just relaxing and trying to listen. Be careful what you listen to, because like Angie mentioned, music has been designed to lower our frequencies, right? We don't want that. There's a lot of things out there to lower our frequencies. There's a lot of things out there that are actually interfering with our frequencies and our biofield and our aura, whatever you want to call it. The internets, the 5Gs, the 6Gs, the 8Gs, whatever, they're all around us all the time, constantly. These cause interruptions. So you need to do whatever you can to protect your physical body from these energies that come in, because it's affecting your spiritual body, because it's actually done on purpose. This has been known for many, many, many years, and we just haven't been taught And this is what happened to our father. He was, I'm just going to say this, you guys are probably going to be like, whatever. He did not die for our sins, because how can somebody die for sins that haven't been committed? That is absolute nonsense. He was murdered by the Romans for being a truth teller, which has now been renamed as a conspiracy theorist. Okay. He was literally murdered. He was not, but he has never left any of us. Every single one of us is a frequency being, a part of our Father, lives within our hearts, our frequency, our biofields, every single one of us. And once you realize that, it's like, holy, oh my goodness, that's been a part of my life, my entire life, my entire life. So all of those that have left me, I miss their physical body, but I know that they are all around me. All of us, all the way back to our ancestors. They are all here helping guide us through each day. So if that doesn't resonate with you, hopefully at some point it will. This is also a part, your ego death, right? You have your ego death. It's really important that you do that. That is part of your subconscious mind and the traumas that are trapped inside your body, which is where Reiki can come in and help with that. We can help move the meridians, so that they flow from top. So you start at the top and you end, your root chakra is like between your legs, right? So you have 7 from here to here, and they all need to flow beautifully. All need to flow. And if one of them's blocked, then you're going to have problems, and that could cause anger. Maybe you're afraid to speak in front of people. You're cloudy mind all the time because there's a meridian that's blocked, a chakra that's blocked, however you want to call them. So if you don't know how to do it yourself, you can find yourself someone who is proficient in Reiki, and they can help you by it's life force energy. It's what God was trying to teach our Father, instead of God, was trying to teach everyone back in the day, to say, hey, this is what we all have, this ability. Every single one of you listening to that can have the life force energy, every single one of you, because you just call it in. You go to your Reiki masters will help you with that and give you the symbols that you need to call forth this energy. It's amazing. I have level 2 Reiki certification. So I have symbols that have been given to me. There's 3 of them that I can use at any time. And it is amazing. It's so warm and loving, and you need to ground yourself as well. So grounding is very important. Whenever shoes were created, they were created to break the grounding between your physical body, your soul. Your soul really needs the frequencies. And to also, so you're disconnected. Now you're disconnected from Gaia, which is Mother Earth. Okay, Gaia is another word for Mother Earth. It's more spiritual than Earth. There's some things I could talk about the Earth soon, that might be for another Zoom. So you're now disconnected. So what happens when you're disconnected? Well, everything starts getting blocked up. So if you could at least once a day take your shoes off and go stand in the dirt, stand in the grass, stand in even the gravel if you have tough feet. I wouldn't stand in the gravel, but I don't have tough feet. If I had tough feet, I'd stand in the gravel. Just at least once a day. And if you can't get outside, like where some of us are, it's below 0. You don't want to stand in that, because I don't want you to get frostbite on your feet. We don't need another problem caused. But you can sit, you can get a grounding mat, you can get grounding sheets, grounding pillows, grounding blankets, those will help. But you can also sit in silence and picture yourself in a grassy field with your feet on the ground, and that there are roots coming out of your feet, and they go into the earth, and they find a big root. And the roots from your feet will wrap around that root, and you are now grounded. You can see it. You don't physically have to be touching anything, which is something that a lot of people don't know, that you really don't have to touch the ground. You can sit in silence and do that yourself and ground. And then you're going to ask for protection from our Father. Please protect me because you're kind of making yourself vulnerable by sitting in silence. And it's an opportunity for other little noises to come in that really don't need to be there, which are sometimes your subconscious mind, which leads to your ego. Okay. And there might be a little entity in your house. Who knows? You don't know. So you can do that as well. So there's many ways to ground. Just make sure you do that because you're going to feel so much better. I think Angie's mentioned it before. There's a movie out there that shows that grounding literally can heal your body. You dig a hole in the ground, you get in there and you cover yourself up, not your face, obviously. You cover yourself up and you let Mother Earth, Gaia, heal you. The roots of the trees. I don't know if all of you realize that every tree is connected. There's a few gigantic trees they're all connected too, and they're throughout the world. And they're all connected and they have their own inner pathways, which kind of is also shown you if you watch the movie Avatar. That is in there as well. It's all right in front of our faces. So we all just need to like take a moment, think about how can we ground ourselves, how it works. How does this all work? How does this crazy world work? Well, it's easy. It's all frequencies. It's all running around us all the time. It's just being blocked everywhere you turn, and that's done on purpose. So you do your research, you figure things out, you sit in silence. Just know that when somebody leaves you, they're not really gone. Their physical body's gone. And was it traumatic? Oh, hell yeah. Especially your pets. Really, really traumatic. So I'm sorry, I'm so emotional. It's like, I knew it was going to happen when I start talking about this stuff, but it is part of my awakening. The ego death, and I know more than you do. I don't know any more than anybody else does. We all know, we all have the abilities to know the same amount. So I don't. So if you don't like me, that's you. And I hope that someday you'll change your mind. But that's you, and I'm not going to try to change your mind because we all, just we are who we are, and we're all in the exact right place that we are right now is the perfect place to be in the perfect time to be it. And then also the conscious mind. So the conscious mind, so we kind of talked a little bit about the subconscious mind, trapped trauma, Reiki, energies, frequencies. The subconscious mind is what you are taking in daily. Your conscious mind is you're moving your hands, you're doing that consciously. You're talking, you're doing that consciously. Your thoughts are like, I see that glass of water there on the table. These are your conscious minds. Things that people are talking to you become your conscious minds. And so you have to be careful when people talk to you. What you hear may not necessarily be the truth. And we all have this thing because we've all been taught to do this. If you see it on television, it's true. Did you see what happened to so-and-so? Oh, a lot of what we see today on the TV, you need to use your own thought process, your own intuition. That is really not true. It's not true. And if you can take a minute and replay the videos that we're seeing, and you could do them in slow-mo, you will discover things that you're like, wait a minute, what's going on? This is not how it was portrayed, because it's doing so fast. Your brain is moving so fast. It's keeping up with what they're saying. You need to stop, replay the videos. You'll be surprised what you see, because people's fingers aren't supposed to be melded together like this. There's things in the background that you didn't pick up, but are now a blob. But you automatically see it as a tree or a bush. Your mind just does that. And you go back and look at it, you go like, well, that's a blob. That isn't even, that's not a tree at all. So take some time to go over this. Sorry, I was emotional, but it is emotional when you're losing as many people as I have lost. And then you come to terms with the fact that, no, they're still here. We're just mourning. Their physical presence is no longer there, and there should be a mourning period. Do not be upset if you cry. You cry when you need to cry, because it's not a sign of weakness. It's your body letting the trauma go, and we need to let the trauma go. Oh, and never let anybody tell you how you should grieve. I actually have lost people in my life because they felt it was necessary to tell me how I should grieve. That is a private and personal thing. That is not for anyone's judgment. There's only one person in this whole realm that can judge you, and it's not the one standing in front of you. All right? Do not. I did it the way I wanted to do, and I will continue to grieve probably for a very long time. And when it bubbles up, you let it bubble up. You do not worry about who's watching or who's around you, because it needs to come out. It needs to lean forward and be let go. This is how you're going to sit through the dark shadow of the night and kill your damn ego, which is really hard. Really hard, because it'll creep back in. Like, trust me, it'll creep back in. But try to do that. I hope I didn't make the rest of you cry, because it is actually a wonderful thing. It's not a sad thing. We're all going to go through it. We're all going to get through it. And we're all going to know that our Father lives inside of our hearts every minute of every day. Every breath you take has been given to you. And you decided to be here to live it and do it. And that's it. That's all I can't say anymore.
Thank you so much, Carolyn, for sharing something so deep and personal through this research and through the awakening. And, the mass is awakening right now. And I think it is painful. Alina said it takes steps and stages, and that's true, like a little bit at a time. It sounds like Carolyn's been hit with a lot of tragedies personally. We definitely feel. Yes, we got emotional with you, but we definitely feel that with you. And definitely our hearts are with you with everything that's happened in your life. And there's always a purpose, there's always a reason. And you're right, they're not very far from you. They're still with us, everyone that's passed over. And I'm sure you can feel their energy. And I wanted to make a couple points on things that you said. One of them was frequency. That's our healer and everybody. And people don't even know it. Frequency is the healer by Nikola Tesla 100 years ago. Like that came from God, and God is frequency, and he is inside of us. So when I say we are God, it means we have the frequency of God inside us. So we have the kingdom of God within us. It's not religion. You're not going to go to church and learn this. Church, religion's man-made, keeps you under their rules. We're all in a spiritual journey, whether you realize it or not. And we're kind of trying to open that up for everyone to see that today. And it's a lot to take in. You're going to be like trying to digest this today, little by little in the brain, because of cognitive dissonance. 90% of info of the awakening is not processed in the brain right away. So this is going to take segments. In fact, we might even do a part 2 on spiritual awakening, because there's so much to know. And real quick, we hold emotion in a lot of our organs, and our chakras can become blocked. So we have to figure out how to unblock them. And of course, release trauma, and Reiki is a big one to do that. It's helped me with my past trauma, where I feel good. Sometimes trapped emotions do come up and you do have to cry, but you're releasing that by crying. So, and of course, a lot of salt baths. I can't stress that enough, because if we can't get outside to ground, we got to get in the bathtub to ground. You can ground by ground and water. And salt is a spiritual cleanser. So please keep up on your salt, either salt caves, salt baths. As you know, salt is a pretty big deal. I like to sage the house if I feel any dark energy in my house. This is not weird. It's not voodoo. It's not witchy. It's clearing out bad energy and bringing in good energy. We are taught that Reiki's demonic and yoga's demonic, and all the things that they teach us to be demonic is actually healing. Meditation, you are with Jesus. You are healing with Jesus, telling you what to do and feel and think, and all those things that we are told is bad. It's not bad. It's actually good. It's cleansing. It's awakening. It's like she said, ego death. If people haven't gone through ego death yet, they're not awake. We have to become humble servants for the Lord. And that's what my mission is. And I'm meeting all of these spiritual people around me. That's not an accident. People do not come in or out of your life as an accident. Everyone has a part in your life. Just remember that. That's pretty big to know that. There's no accidents. So anyway, moving on to Trish. Welcome in, Trish. What do you have for us today? How did you awaken up or awaken?
Okay, well, first of all, thank you, Carolyn. That was huge, and I, I love you. I really appreciate you, and thank you for sharing. That was awesome. Yeah. I often, when I'm thinking of what we're doing, and I think of this primary quote from a movie, and it's from Bug's Life, and it says, "You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumbered us by 100 to 1. And if they ever figured out, there goes our way of life." So we are very powerful. We have been told that we're not. when you go through a spiritual awakening, you're going to feel that power. You're going to start learning how to come into that power. But that is like it's a journey. It's like baby steps, right? And there's no right or wrong way. You're going to learn. But they know that if all of us came awake at the same time, that would be very, very bad for them. So I started thinking, what is my spiritual awakening? And I'm a Taurus, and I think that God let me go through a lot of Taurian torture as well, and that's okay. I'm happy for that happened to me. And I know that sounds kind of weird because you don't even know what I'm going to say. I had things happen to me as a child that shouldn't have happened to me. And that's what happened, right? So when that happened, that took away a lot of my power, took away a lot of who I was, potentially who you think you were going to be, right? Well, that's just, it's a cover. You can peel that back and be who you want to be. It's going to take more. So here goes more. So then as an adult, I go through my life, I go through all the challenges, I make huge mistakes, learn a lot of lessons. I got married, I got pregnant, I lost a baby, went through a dark night of the soul with that. And then I got a surprise divorce. I wasn't expecting that. Dark night of the soul. And then I got my back paralyzed temporarily. Another dark night of the soul. We go through these dark nights of the soul it's not that I didn't learn my lesson right away. It's that I feel like God had to have me have all these crazy things happen to me so that I can relate and heal and help others. So it's not just like a one thing that I was supposed to do. I'm supposed to be a multiple healer and a multiple. The weird thing is, I went to Alaska, and I was with my friend, and we were in a cafe, and we were sitting there, and a lady walked up and said, "I need to tell you who you are." And I was like, and my friend was sitting there, and she goes, "Go ahead." She's obviously not even looking at me. She's talking to you. And I said, that's okay? And she said, yes. I said, okay. I said, okay, what do you mean by that? She said, well, in the Egyptian times, you were an advisor to a very wealthy family, and they looked for you for guidance and all these things. Like, you were very much entwined into all their advisement. I said, okay. And then in the Victorian times, I came back again, same thing. And then I'm thinking, is this now again? I'm supposed to be another advisor. I'm supposed to help. This is my service, right? So when you go through all your dark nights of the soul, and you've done your ego death, and you've done your rebirth, and you've done all of the things that you are building on to realize that it's not about me being right or wrong. It's about, can I serve someone? So then what is your service? What is that you're going to do after that? So now it's like, that's what I'm discovering is my service part. But I will tell you, in the meantime, I couldn't keep a normal job. Things would happen. My job, like 9 to 5s, those went out the door like that. I started with 9 to 5 from 16 to like 40 something. And I did the same thing every day, very, very monotonous, very, very boring, but I did it for 28 and a half years. And then I left, I moved to another state. That got me out of that, right? And then I started trying to do these jobs, but I wasn't serving anyone. I was chasing a dollar. I was trying to chase this and chase that, and maybe this will work and maybe that'll work. It's not about that. It's about where you're supposed to be. So then I finally ended up with adults with disabilities, and I love it. And then that is a very nice environment for me. You're helping people, you're serving, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, right? So I think too that if you are having all those issues and things are just not hitting right, you're going through some kind of spiritual awakening, and you may be going through dark night of the soul if you're having all these losses and all these things that are happening, but it's happening for you, not to you, so that you can be the person that you need to be. What else was I going to say? Some of the feelings, though, that you're going to feel are like fear and sorrow. You may feel like you're letting people down, and things just aren't working out. Like maybe in a divorce, you feel like you let down your children. You know, that you may feel all these things, but you have to work through those things, and you have to let that child know that that is something that happened to me and it affected you, but I still love you. And you have to give yourself the grace to say, I'm still okay and I still love you and I'm still going to be there for you. You may have trust issues. You may get into loops and you're looping and looping and looping in the same problem. Oh, I'll be debt free soon, and you're never debt free. I'll lose that weight soon. You're never losing weight. I will do this someday, and you're never doing it. You're always looping. Those are things that you can control. You can get them. I work on them all the time. I'm not perfect, but I want you to know that it's all part of the process. And we're here to help each other. We're not here to fight each other. Spiritual awakening is your awakening, and then what are you going to do after? So service is after. And I just encourage people to figure out what that is and serve and get out there and start helping people.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Trish, you brought up a lot of good points, a lot of tragedies that happen to people, or setbacks or disappointments. It's all part of the process. And I think that makes us a humble servant. You know, maybe that's God teaching us that ego has no play here. And nobody's better than anybody. Doesn't matter if you've healed or unhealed, awakened, unawakened. No one's better than anybody. We're all the same here. And we need to treat people with respect and have high standards too, boundaries, so people can't walk on us. And I feel for you with a lot of the stuff that's happened to you, because I have similar background, so I can relate. And I think majority of people can relate to you, that this is real life stuff, and we're not taught anywhere how to deal with a lot of bad things. And a lot of us have been, stuff has happened to us as a child, and we've got to protect our children. And it's been hard in our 3D material world. And but just remember, the world is a stage. Take that for what, if my awakening people will understand what I just said. And I want to bring up a few movies: Leave the World Behind, Dark Waters, The Truman Show, and Hunger Games. And also watch spiritual awakening movies, the Earthing movie, which is about grounding, which Carolyn mentioned earlier, and read some spiritual awakening books. And know you're going to have several ego deaths. Know you're going to have several dark night of the soul. That just means that you're facing your own shadows and you're going to get through it. And it might be a dark time. It might be like a time where you're just losing it all. You're losing a job or a divorce, or children's not in your life, or, whatever's going on there. It's for a reason. And usually when things are cleared out is when God wants your attention. Okay, now I got your attention. No one's talking in your ear. Now it's me and you. So there's a lot of work I want you to know and do and be, and it's not a quick fix. What we're used to doing. We're used to microwave, we're used to pills, we're used to, getting things quickly. So that's one of the biggest things I've learned in my lifetime, is that something really good to happen for your life, it takes time. It's not going to just, you wake up and it's instant. So I hope today has helped a lot of people with their own struggles and traumas and how to go about it. Please see me or the other three on here, Lena, Carolyn, and Trish, if you guys have any issues that's going on that you can relate with any of us. Maybe you have a lot of deaths in the family. Talk to Carolyn about it. She's also a Reiki master. She can help you and lead you the way. Talk to Trish with struggles she's had, me for struggles I've had, Alina with her awakening. We're all here to help and bring awareness. Nobody's judging anyone. It's a safe space with us four. And we're going to continue on doing these Zooms on Facebook because I feel they're important. Plus, they'll be loaded on my website and YouTube because I really think that I want people to know more than anything today is you're never alone. You always have your guardian angels, your spirit team, God, Jesus, divine universe, like they're all within you. And once you realize that, you become so powerful and limitless. Like Trish had said, we don't have to take pills if we don't want to. We don't have to eat toxic food if we don't want to. We can have all of these resources from God to better ourselves and go back to purity. That's my goal, purity. I don't want to put anything in my body unless it's holistic. That's me. I don't want to take any medication unless it's an emergency. That's me. I have clean water sources on my website. I found a lot of things instead of antibiotics and things for viruses like carbon 60. I found things so I don't have rheumatoid flares. I found protocols so I don't have diverticulitis. I found things that we swap out. By the way, that's going to be our next video. We're going to show you swaps, I guess you'd say, where instead of doing coffee, do the dandelion dark roasted tea. Instead of doing amoxicillin, try oil of oregano. We're going to do swaps for our next Zoom, which will be next Wednesday. Any final thoughts? I'm sorry this got extremely emotional today. But we're raw, we're real, and we wouldn't have it any other way. So last minute thoughts, Alina.
Be kind to yourself, and hopefully the journey you take, whether it's using some of the healing modalities I mentioned or any of what Trish and Carolyn and Angie mentioned, whatever that may be, and hopefully will lead to bigger and better things. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Alina. Trish.
Just that you're not what happens to you, and another thing is if somebody is having all those problems, please call me before you even drink or do other things to numb that pain. Please call me first, because we don't need to compound a problem that could be really elevated quickly. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
I love that, Trish. Thank you so much. And Carolyn?
Yeah. Hey, everyone. Don't be afraid, like Trish said, to ask for help. Don't be afraid to cry. You're not weak. You really aren't. And I'm going to do it again. See, we're all here for a reason, and we're living that reason. And you literally will not be handed anything that you cannot deal with. Because look at me, I'm still here. My life has actually gotten better with everything that I learn and every step that I take. I am here. I am strong. Nothing's going to get me down. And I'm here for a reason. And I'm hopefully going to be living that reason here soon. I'm sure I am. I'm sure this is actually what you're seeing right now, part of my reason to bring you enlightenment.
And I love that. All three of you, I believe all three of you are my soul sisters forever. I love you three dearly so much. I don't want to cry, so but I do feel deep on our soul mission here to awaken, to bring awareness, to help people. And please see me as a health coach if you're suffering with traumas. And I know resources, like Reiki, there's so many things we can do. Mental and physical health. You don't have to suffer. You're not here to suffer. You're not here to have pain, inflammation. You're not here to be toxic or be around toxic. You're here to break those generational toxic cycles. You are here to be powerful. You are here to go through the struggles so that you can turn pain to power, transmute it. pain to power. You are magnetic and super, super powerful and limitless. And don't let anyone dim your light. And thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I love what I do, and I attract that in, that we're all kind of here on our soul mission to really elevate the planet and raise our consciousness. I can't say enough. I'm so thankful for all of you. Thank you for everyone that tuned in today. Please watch the replay if you missed it. And thank you again, Carolyn, Trish, and Alina. It was a great, great, great live today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.